Look at your lawn right now. Not tomorrow, right now. Because what I'm about to show you has a deadline. And depending on when you're watching this, you may already be behind it. Here's the truth nobody in the lawn care world wants to say out loud. Most lawns that die in summer were already dead in spring. The homeowner just didn't know it yet. The watering, the mowing, the fertilizer runs to Home Depot. All of it. Done with good intentions, and still the lawn died. I'm going to show you exactly why that happens. And more importantly, I'm going to show you the specific window you have right now to make sure it doesn't happen to yours. By the end of this, you'll know exactly where your lawn stands, and you'll have a clear picture of what to do about it before summer takes it from you. Let's get into it. Here's something about grass that nobody properly explains. What you see above the surface. That green carpet you mow every weekend. That's maybe 30% of the story. The other 70% is underground. Invisible. And it's either saving your lawn right now or quietly failing it. Under your lawn, there is a root system. And that root system has one job in summer. Reach deep enough to find moisture that the sun cannot touch. The sun bakes the top 2 to 3 inches of soil. Moisture evaporates fast. If your roots only live in that zone, and most do, your grass gets completely cut off from water on every single hot day. But roots that go 6, 8, 10 inches down there, the soil stays cool. Moisture stays, and your grass pulls from that reserve all summer long without even flinching. Same lawn, same heat, same drought. 2 completely different outcomes. The only difference is what happened underground in spring. So here's the question that actually matters. How deep are your roots right now? The uncomfortable answer, the one most people never find out until it's too late. The average residential lawn has roots that go less than 2 inches deep. Not because of bad soil, not because of bad seed, but because of 3 or 4 completely normal habits that homeowners repeat every single season. Habits that feel like good lawn care, while quietly training the grass to stay weak. Now, I want you to understand something called the stress cycle, because this is where it gets serious. Your grass goes through stress every year. Winter dormancy is stressful. Breaking out of dormancy in spring is stressful. Summer heat is stressful. Every time your lawn goes through a stress event, it needs the right conditions to recover. Give it those conditions, it comes out stronger. Don't. It comes out a little weaker than it went in. Most lawns are in year 3, 4, maybe 5 of coming out weaker every single cycle. They look okay, green enough. They pass the glance test from the driveway. But underneath, the reserves are almost gone. And one summer that runs a little hotter, a little longer than usual. And the lawn that always came back suddenly doesn't. The homeowners are always shocked. Because they were doing everything they thought was right. This is not a scare tactic. This is just what the pattern looks like across thousands of residential lawns every single season. The lawns that died dramatically in summer almost always had a quiet, invisible decline running 2 or 3 years before anyone noticed. And here's what I need you to hold on to as we go forward. The 4 things most likely killing your lawn right now. None of them are obvious. None of them are dramatic. And at least 2 of them are things you were probably told to do. That's what makes them dangerous. And that's exactly what we're getting into next. All right, the 4 things. But first, understand what makes this list different. These are not you forgot to water or you never fertilized. Every single killer on this list looks completely reasonable on the surface. Some of them are things lawn care companies actively recommend. Some of them your neighbors are doing right now. Feeling good about it. That's exactly what makes them dangerous. You're watering your lawn to death. Not underwatering, not forgetting to water. Watering your lawn to death. When you water frequently, every day, every other day, short sessions to keep the surface moist, you are not helping your grass. You are training its roots to stay lazy and shallow. Think about it from the roots perspective. If water is always available 2 inches down, why would it ever go deeper? There's no reason. Everything it needs is right there. So the roots stay shallow, comfortable, completely unprepared for summer. Then the heat arrives. The top 2 inches dry out in hours, and your lawn, with its perfectly shallow, perfectly watered root system, has nowhere left to go. The fix is counterintuitive. Let your lawn get slightly thirsty between waterings. When the top layer dries out, roots chase moisture downward. They go deeper with every cycle. 1 inch of water per week, 1 or 2 deep sessions. This single change will do more for your lawn than anything else. Your lawn looks perfect from the street, but underneath that green carpet, a silent war is being lost. Short grass looks clean, manicured, like you genuinely take care of things on your property, and it's quietly destroying your lawn every single cut. Grass blades are solar panels. They capture sunlight and convert it into energy. Energy that feeds roots, fights weeds, repairs stress damage. Longer blade means more surface area. More surface area means more energy for your lawn. Cut too short, and energy production almost stops entirely. Your grass goes into emergency survival mode, pulling every resource into regrowing the blade, abandoning root development and growth completely. And while it's distracted doing that, the soil underneath is fully exposed to direct sunlight. No shade, no protection. Soil temperatures begin to spike dramatically, and all that vital moisture evaporates in minutes. 3 to 4 inches is your target height heading into the peak of summer. Never cut more than 1/3 of the blade in a single mow. It'll look different than what you're used to, but that extra inch of height is the difference between soil that stays moist and your soil begins to bake in the heat. This invisible layer is called thatch, a layer of dead grass stems and organic debris, sitting between the soil surface and the grass above, completely invisible from standing height. A thin layer, 1/2 inch, is fine, but on the average unmaintained residential lawn, thatch buildup is commonly 1 to 2 inches thick, and at that thickness, it functions like a thatched roof. Water hits it and runs off. Fertilizer sits on top of it and goes nowhere. The roots underneath, starving for both, get almost nothing. You could have perfect watering habits. Keep your grass at the perfect mowing height, and your lawn is still slowly dying, because nothing you put down is actually reaching it. Push into your lawn to feel the hidden resistance. If you feel a spongy resistance before it hits soil, that thick, spongy layer is the hidden thatch. And the thicker it feels, the more urgent this is. Healthy soil is alive and full of life. It has air pockets and water channels, space for roots to move through effortlessly. Compacted soil has none of that. It's hard as rock. It's dense, hard, packed down from foot traffic, pets, and heavy rain. And almost every high-traffic residential lawn has it. Your roots hit that hard layer and stop dead, which means no matter how well you water it, the roots never reach the water anyway. Water pools at the surface and evaporates, and your grass gets a fraction of what you think. Same screwdriver test to check your yard's health. Healthy soil, 4 to 6 inches easy for any tool. If it stops at 1 or 2, your roots are trapped. Now, if you just recognized your lawn in 2, 3, maybe all 4 of these, good. That means you're seeing it clearly, probably for the first time. And everything I just described is completely fixable in just 1 single season. The action plan coming up next is 6 steps. Simple, but the sequence matters, because one of these steps, done in the wrong order, makes the other 5 almost pointless. That's what we're getting into right now. All right, 6 steps, and before I give them to you, the sequence matters more than the steps themselves. Most people who try to fix their lawn do the right things in the wrong order. They fertilize before the ground can accept it. They seed before the soil is ready. They water correctly on top of a thatch barrier that blocks everything. Doing the right thing at the wrong time is just a more expensive version of doing nothing. So we're doing this in order, exactly as I give it to you. Step 1. Clear the path first. Before any water, fertilizer, or seed hits your lawn, you need to make sure the ground is actually ready to receive it. If your screwdriver test showed thatch, dethatch first. A manual thatching rake works for smaller yards. For anything larger, rent a power dethatcher from Home Depot or Lowe's. 1 afternoon. Done. Then aerate. Core aeration pulls small plugs of soil out of the ground, creating channels for air, water, and nutrients to penetrate deep. This single step directly reverses the compaction damage we talked about. Do these two things in the same session, same day. The plugs left on your lawn look rough for a week. Leave them. They break down naturally and return nutrients directly to the soil. Step 2. Overseed immediately after. Right after aeration is the single best moment to overseed. Those holes give seeds direct soil contact. Germination rates after aeration are significantly higher than seeding on unprepared ground. Match your seed to your existing grass type and your climate. Cool season grasses. Fescue, bluegrass, ryegrass for northern states. Warm season. Bermuda, zoysia, St. Augustine for the south. Use a spreader. Even coverage matters more than most people realize. Uneven seeding creates the patchy results that make a lawn look worse than before. Lightly rake the surface after spreading so seeds make contact with soil. Then water gently, surface moisture only at this stage, until germination happens. After that, shift immediately to deep, infrequent watering. Step 3. Fuel it, but don't burn it. This is the step people get wrong most often, and it's the one that can actually set your lawn back instead of forward. Apply a slow-release fertilizer now, before summer heat arrives. Slow release feeds steadily over weeks instead of dumping everything at once. It's gentler, more effective, and dramatically reduces burn risk. But here's what nobody tells you. Too much nitrogen heading into summer actually backfires. It pushes rapid top growth very quickly. That increases your lawn's water demand significantly during summer, at exactly the wrong time for your lawn. Follow the package rate instructions carefully. Use a spreader to apply it evenly. Water it in after application. And if summer heat has already arrived in your area, wait. Fertilizing heat-stressed grass makes everything worse. Step 4. Reprogram your watering. Today, not this weekend. Today. If you have an irrigation system, get in front of it after this video and reprogram it. 2 to 3 sessions per week maximum for the best results. Long run times ensure deep root penetration. Water your lawn before 10 a.m. only for maximum absorption. No irrigation system? Set a phone reminder. Build the habit this week to ensure your success, because this is the highest leverage daily change you can make. You can make for your lawn's survival this summer. Pick up a cheap rain gauge from any hardware store nearby. Stick the rain gauge in your lawn for accurate measurement. After each session, check it for health. You want roughly ½ an inch per session. That gets you to your 1-inch weekly target for watering. Step 5. Raise your blade 1 setting right now. After this video, go outside and take action. And raise your mower blade 1 setting, just 1. If you normally cut at 2 inches, go to 3 inches. 2.5, go to 3.5 inches. That single adjustment reduces soil moisture loss significantly, increases energy production through photosynthesis, and adds just enough shade to protect the soil, to make a measurable difference on hot summer days. You don't need a jungle in your backyard. You need 3 to 4 inches. That's it for your lawn. Step 6. Cut weeds off before summer amplifies them. Summer is weed season for many homeowners, and weeds don't just look bad. They hurt progress. They compete directly with your grass for resources, for the water and nutrients you just worked to deliver. For broadleaf weeds, dandelions, clover, plantain, a selective broadleaf herbicide eliminates them completely, without touching your grass or harming the lawn. Apply now while weeds are actively growing in the sun, and they absorb the treatment very fast. If crabgrass is a problem in your area currently, pre-emergent herbicide applied before soil temperatures hit 55 degrees stops it before it starts. After that threshold, it's too late for the season. A thick, healthy lawn crowds out weeds naturally. These 6 steps are building exactly that for you. All right, you've done the work needed. Dethatched, aerated, seeded, fertilized, watering schedule fixed, blade raised. Now comes the part where most people undo everything. Everything they just built over the spring. Because summer arrives with its intense heat, the lawn starts looking stressed and tired, and panic sets in for many homeowners. They overwater and drown the grass. They fertilize in peak heat incorrectly. They scalp the lawn thinking it'll somehow help, and in the span of 2 weeks or less, they reverse every good decision they made. So before that happens, here are the summer rules. Simple, non-negotiable rules for your lawn. Rule 1. Let it go dormant if it needs to. This is the hardest thing for homeowners to accept. If your lawn starts going brown in July, that may not be death, but something else. That may be dormancy for the grass plants. The mistake is panicking and flooding a dormant lawn with water. That doesn't wake it up. It invites fungal disease into a lawn. That was actually doing the smart thing, conserving energy. Brown and dormant is survivable. Brown and waterlogged is not. If dormancy hits, light watering once every 2 to 3 weeks, just enough to keep the crown alive. Don't try to force green in peak heat. Wait for fall. It will come back. Rule 2. No fertilizer in peak heat. None. Nitrogen in summer heat pushes growth the lawn cannot sustain. It spikes water demand. It stresses the plant. And it can burn your lawn badly at the worst possible time. If you fertilized correctly in spring, your lawn has what it needs. Leave it alone. Early fall is your next fertilizer window. Rule 3. Sharp blades, high cut, every single mow. Blunt mower blades tear grass instead of cutting it. Torn grass loses moisture faster and opens the door to disease. Sharpen your blades at least once this season. Keep that mowing height at 3 to 4 inches. Every cut is a stress event. The taller the grass, the better it handles it. Rule 4. Know what disease looks like before it spreads. Summer heat and humidity create perfect conditions for lawn fungal disease. And fungal disease moves fast. Know the signs. Circular brown patches appearing suddenly. Grass with a pinkish or orange tint in morning light. Blades that pull out of the ground with almost no resistance. Root system already gone. If you see any of these, act immediately. A targeted fungicide applied at first sign stops it. Catching it a week late can mean losing sections of lawn that take a full season to recover. Early eyes, fast action. That's the whole game in summer. I want to leave you with something that goes beyond the steps. Because the homeowners who have genuinely great lawns year after year, they're not spending more money than you. They're not using products you can't find. They're not putting in dramatically more hours on the weekend. The difference is one thing. They stopped being reactive. They stopped waiting for brown patches to appear before taking action. They stopped guessing and started testing their soil for clarity. They stopped treating lawn care like an emergency response system, where you only move when something goes wrong. Real lawn care is proactive. It's about building conditions that make problems unlikely in the first place. Deep roots that laugh at drought. Healthy soil that holds nutrients and drains perfectly. Thick turf that crowds out weeds without you ever reaching for a herbicide. When you build a lawn like that, summer stops being something you survive. It becomes something your lawn handles while you're sitting on the porch, not thinking about it. And that right there is the goal. And everything I walked you through today is the direct path to get there. I promised you something at the start of this video. A 60-second test that tells you exactly where your lawn stands right now. Go to 3 different spots in your lawn. A high-traffic area, a shaded area, and a spot that gets full afternoon sun. Less than 2 inches before resistance. Compaction problem. Feel spongy cushion before hitting soil. Thatch problem. Slides 4 to 6 inches smooth. Your soil foundation is solid. Focus on watering habits and mowing height, and you're in good shape. Do that test in all 3 spots. No products to buy first. Just the truth about what's actually happening under your grass. That's what this whole video was really about. No products to buy first. Getting you to a place where you actually know what your lawn needs. Instead of just hoping what you're doing is working, your lawn doesn't have to be one of the ones that doesn't make it through summer. After today, it won't be.